I've been out of town, various places, but I'm back, and I wouldn't want to miss this one. These guys are pretty great. So how many people, is anyone here for their very first Lunch and Arbor Marketing Program? First time? Okay, welcome. Welcome, folks. Thanks for coming. Just so you know, we do meet here every Wednesday,
except when we don't.
At least through the end of June, and then we're going to take off. We may meet informally through July and August, take some outside tables, just people to get together for lunch. But we'll take July and August off, and then we'll be back in September with another exciting program. So you have a few more chances to come this year, and then you get to go on summer vacation. So, just to give you an idea of format, we have speakers. This week we have a few, and they talk for approximately 30 minutes. There's time for Q&A. Today we have a moderator. Tiffany's going to be our moderator, which is the most exciting. And she'll be running around fielding questions and such. And we are doing something today. Oh yeah, you know what? LA2M is a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, which means that we are self-supported. So if anybody wants to eat, as you know, it's $10, or you can just sit here and enjoy the show. There's water in the back. If you want to contribute, we suggest maybe a $3 contribution. We pass the basket, old school. And today, in addition, when we pass the basket, you can put your business card in there, because we're going to be giving away, is it one ticket or two? 2 tickets to Brewfest. Yeah. Anybody drink beer? Yeah. So Brewfest is June 18th at the Royal Oak Farmers Market, and it benefits the Children's Leukemia Foundation of Michigan. So the passes, there's like burgers from Bagger Dave's, wings. Tickets are normally $35 in advance, or $40 at the door. So we're giving away 2. Which includes, basically you get beer and food and all you can eat for that. So it's a really nice date night, right? Anybody not get out enough, right? Some of you married couples, to take the wife or the husband win the prize you won, take it to the beer fest. So anyways, put your cards in here along with your financial donations, and then we'll collect them, and then we're going to give that away in 2 weeks. So you want it to be present to win, but here we can pass one basket that way, we'll pass one basket this way. Our normal treasurer is not here today. Stacy's out. And that's for the brew. Put your card in there if you want to win tickets to the Brew Fest. And that's one of Tiffany's friends, right? Nikki Stephan, right? Was that your thing? Yeah, Nikki, who spoke here a couple weeks ago. Okay. So what else? That's about it. Oh yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm a little out of it today. So there is a hashtag for any of you people that use Twitter. You can use the hashtag LA2M to tweet. You can also check in on Foursquare at LA2M, which is cool. So those of you with smartphones, please check in at LA2M or use the hashtag. Anything you tweet does show up on the LA2M website, which is cool. Obviously, don't abuse that. But yeah, so today we have some people that you probably know. And then we have one person that you might know, and then we have one person who's not here. He's on the way. One person on the way. Okay. I'm going to give him a quick introduction. This is Alex. Alex has been helping out with us at LA2M recording when Roger's not around, which is very kind. Thanks, Alex. So he's the guy that you kind of know. Wayne is the guy you should probably know because he built our LA2M app, right? And he built our LA2M site. Jesus, Wayne does a lot for us. But anyways, we're a volunteer organization, so Wayne's been very volunteer focused. Thanks, Wayne. And Ross, you definitely should know. Not only was Ross one of the original people to start LA2M, but he is a designer, and he designed our logo and our website and all those great things. So Ross, so you know these people. Anthony's the guy that's not here yet. And then Tiffany's going to be our moderator. And let's give them a big round of applause. I'm going to hand the mic over to Tiffany.
just a couple spots up front for you guys. So I work at Ingenix Digital Marketing with our CEO, Derek Mirabon. I do social media. And in addition, I get to be a part of the LA2M. So you'll find me tweeting and doing our social media. So it's a pretty cool job. I'm really excited for this event that we have today for you. It's something a little different. We had a panel discussion 2 weeks ago, and we tend to have high demand for a couple more. So this is our WordPress versus Drupal battle royale. Some people aren't comfortable with that term, but ultimately it's to help you decide which CMS is the right decision for your organization or your personal brand or whatever it may be. So I'll do a quick intro of who we've got here. Alex Fisher, highly acclaimed. He is the head nerd at Commercial Progression, which serves clients nationally, big and small, including National Geographic, the Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America, and Detroit Public Television. And he also is the co-founder of the Michigan Drupal Meetup, which is a really nice group that meets once a month? Every so often. So check that out. I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you about that. Next up, oh, and I'm sorry, he is Drupal. So this is our Drupal side. We have kind of a dividing line right here. Our second Drupal developer is Wayne Eaker, and most of you already know him, works at Zengenuity. But you may not know he has over 20 years of experience as a programmer, trainer, and problem solver for organizations of all sizes. And of course, he also did our LA2M app called LA2M to go, if you want to look it up. It's totally free, and that was designed by Wayne. So we have our WordPress side, which right now is underrepresented, but Anthony's coming. We have Ross Johnson. He is CEO of 3.7 Designs, strategy firm based in Ann Arbor over in the Brickyard, a couple doors down. He has over 400 years of experience. He's very, very talented. He's the co-founder of WordPress Ann Arbor, which meets last Wednesday of every month over at the Work with Hell Exchange. Anthony! Welcome! We're so excited to have you. And he's also, as many of you know, writing a book on web design, so be sure to check that out whenever it launches. And then finally, last but not least, Anthony Montalbano. Over the last 5 years, Anthony has developed custom WordPress themes, plugins, and many WordPress powered sites. He is the co-founder of the WordPress Ferndale Meetup Group and the lead organizer of WordCamp Detroit, which is a big feather in his cap. His day job, he's a web development specialist at Domino's Pizza. And also, we've got a couple of the Deal Savant guys over here, which I'm sure we can tell you a little bit more about later after. But it's a really nice Ann Arbor-based, is it a mobile app or a web tool? It's based on QR code, so check that out. All right, so let's begin. Just to let you know, if y'all have a question at any point during it, please feel free to raise your hand and I'll come to you with a mic and we'll talk about it, because that's the nature of what we're doing here today. It's a panel discussion, interactive. They want to talk to you just as much as you have questions for them. That being said, this is not help me with my WordPress hour. So, my website hour, I'm biased. You can tell? I'm not biased. It's not help me with my website hour. So if you have specific questions, they have a full suite of services they would be help you for I'm sure they're good time. Okay, so let's start out. So some of you may not be familiar with both of them, both of the CMSs. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about where Drupal came from, where WordPress came from, where is it now, and talk a little bit about what you use it for, or just kind of thought about it.
Hello. Awesome. All right, so I guess to start with WordPress, if you go back, I want to say it was 7 or 8 years ago now, it started off as mostly a blogging platform, and then it kind of evolved into a CMS. So for a lot of times, it seems like everyone looks at WordPress moreover as a blogging platform, but they don't realize that it's evolved, and it's much more of a CMS than just blogging. And I've realized more and more as I've done client sites that with WordPress, people don't realize they're running WordPress, they feel like it's full CMS, and that's kind of where I stand with WordPress.
So where it is now, yeah, I would say it's a very powerful CMS, even though it's kind of underrated as one because it's seen as a blogging platform. It's primarily used for kind small business websites and obviously blogs. But it also has been used to kind of power a lot of more web application style sites as well. So it's very extendable. You know, it's simple enough where it could just power a blog or a simple 5-10 page site. But it could be turned into something that does a lot more in terms of functionality. So it's kind of started with this very basic route of being able to post quick updates in reverse chronological order, which is essentially a blog, categories, that sort of thing, into something where you can take it and do basic content management, but also a lot more.
So Drupal is 10 years old this year, and it was created by Dries Mike here. No one really knows how to pronounce his name, but he's from somewhere in Europe. So it's open source. It's a content management system. It's almost more of a content management platform or framework. I think on Drupal.org you'll find it described as a content management framework. And so Drupal's kind of built from the idea that you have a very generic kind of idea of what a website is, and then it gives you the tools to either succeed or fail with what you want to build. So, you know, a website, applications, e-commerce, whatever you want to do, workflows, you can do it. It's just sometimes we'll let you do it the right and wrong way. So it takes a little practice, has a bit of a learning curve, but it's getting a lot better with Drupal 7 that was just released in January, and looking forward to today's discussion.
Yeah, one other thing I'd add is it started off as sort of a community platform. It actually started off just as forums, just like would be, you know, message board. But then it grew into a community platform. So it really comes from there. Like it was designed originally for multi-user, and so that core has remained with it as it has added these more sort of content management framework features or the core architecture.
So remember, if you have questions, please stop me at any time. So I know we've got a lot of small business owners in here, so maybe a lot of business owners in here. So can we talk a little bit about e-commerce for each side? Got potential uses, some products online. What are the capabilities? Oh, do you have visual?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into that, let's show kind of what these sites look like. From the front end, you might not be able to tell exactly which one it is, but from the back end, they're quite different. So let's turn this on.
So I have a couple sites that I can show you that are built on WordPress to kind of give you an idea of both what a WordPress site might look like, which, as you'll see, could be anything. You're not kind of constrained to any one style and what by using WordPress. And then I'll also show you some of the more unique things that you can do, and just a quick example of what actually working with WordPress looks like. So this is not my blog. That's my blog. So this is where WordPress kind of started as a way to update and have blog posts. So this is something that does particularly well as it's been refined over all the different years. And this is just a custom theme that I did. You can do kind of a lot of really cool stuff like these fancy drop downs. Here's another WordPress site. Again, kind of looks completely different. This is a site that I did for the Michigan State University Journalism School. And this is actually kind of a full social network. It's more or less like Facebook, where people can register and sign up, post status updates, create a profile, become friends with each other. And that was actually really easy to do through WordPress. And then when you're actually working within WordPress, when you log in, you're kind of given a dashboard that looks something like this. Just to kind of give you a sense as far as like what a work with WordPress looks like. And there's a lot of really nice plugins that let you do things like you can see the latest stats here in the top right as far as who's come there. You kind of get a listing of all your different pages. And really one of the great things about WordPress is the interface. It's kind of making it easy to update and work with your site. For example, if you go to the pages, one kind of cool feature is you can see each page, kind of a quick rundown of who's been visiting the page. So that little graph in the right-hand corner is actually page views. And editing a page gives you a WYSIWYG editor, which is what you see is what you get. So it's actually really easy to kind of make changes, update content, and kind of see what you're working with. For example, all this page says is test homepage too, but and a pretty recent plugin that I found that makes editing really easy. There's a front-end editor that lets you kind of just browse the website after you logged in and make edits on the fly without having to log in. So if you don't like having to kind of navigate the WordPress interface for whatever reason, you can always do it from the front end. This has been really slow, but
What's that called?
front-end editor. All right, well, it's there.
Okay, so I didn't come with quite as many visuals, but as for front-end sites, something, and you can again, Drupal also like WordPress, you can make it look like anything, and so sites like The Economist, Whitehouse.gov, oh yeah, the Grammys, all those sites are Drupal, and they all look completely different, so and have completely different features, so you're not really restricted anyway on that regard. The interface for Drupal is actually more like the plugin you were just showing. Everything is sort of driven sort of from there is a distinct sort of backend, but you can also sort of go into, if you're looking at something, it's possible to edit it sort of right in line, and then you have a WYSIWYG editor and all the things like normal, but you just sort of, if you're looking at the thing you want to edit, there's edit links that appear or pop up all around. So it works kind of like that plugin.
Really quick, just to point out kind of two differences or distinct essences. It's open source, so there's hosted versions of WordPress and Drupal, and then there's versions you put on your own servers. And so, for example, WordPress.com, Drupal has DrupalGardens.com. So it's where you would sign up and you wouldn't install Drupal, you wouldn't run Drupal, you would just create your site. Whereas both WordPress.org and then Drupal.org have versions you can download, install, and create your own site without relying on any third-party platform.
I thought I would also share on note of WordPress Showcase. I believe it's wordpress.org/showcase that Ross wants to pull it up. It really gives you a really good visual of the possibilities of what WordPress can do, and these are all showcase sites, celebrities, lots of famous people. It's fun to look to see what people are doing. I know Katy Perry has a WordPress site. She's awesome. But if you ever want to see what people have done with WordPress, this can give you a lot of creativity and flow of what's possible.
All right. So we'll go back to the e-commerce question. Can you talk a little bit about your site functioning as e-commerce for a business?
Sure.
Plugins, whatever.
Yeah. So one of the so one of the beauty, I guess I should have mentioned in the beginning, one of the beauties of WordPress and Drupal is the community and the ability to extend the platforms. I don't think either platform would be as powerful as they are today without the extensibility. So WordPress has plugins, and I believe they're called modules for Drupal, but these are really what make these platforms stand out above many of the other ones. So with WordPress, there's multiple plugins that you could use to create e-commerce type sites. There's free and paid plugins. Some of the more popular ones for free is just the WP e-commerce. There's a new one I just saw recently, I don't remember the name of it. So I'll have to look it up, I'll tweet it. But one of the Silver Card? We can look it up for you guys. But one of the more, there's a couple of paid ones. I've kind of stuck with the paid ones because I've found that, especially with support, it's quicker. And I just like the interface of some of the paid ones. But there's one called Shop plugin. It's like $35, and it really adds pretty much every piece of e-commerce extensibility that you're looking for. Includes everything from creating inventory, virtual inventory, You can do coupon codes, discounts, shipping offers. It integrates really well with lots of merchants, so if you want to do with authorize.net, for shipping, it syncs up with like FedEx and USPS. So it has all the ability to do all of that with these WordPress plugins. But it really, without the WordPress plugins, it doesn't have really any e-commerce built into it. See if else wants to extend that.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to use a couple of the different e-commerce plugins. And in terms of use cases, they do a great job for, moderate to advanced-ish e-commerce platforms, or e-commerce situations, depending on how complex the products need to sell, how many variations they might be, how complex the shipping requirements are. But it does get to a point where the plugins, it's not a full e-commerce system, so they're not going to do everything, and I think it's important to know that when you're trying to decide what system to go with. I mean, that being said, when you get to the point where these plugins to WordPress kind of fall short, you probably want to look at a full-fledged e-commerce system. There's a lot of systems out there like Magento or Illusion that all they do is e-commerce, and they do it really, really well, and they have everything you'd want to do e-commerce-wise already there. And you really get to a point where it makes sense to switch to a full e-commerce system rather than a content management system with an e-commerce hook attached to it.
Yeah, so for e-commerce, Drupal has plugins that will help integrate things like Magento, probably Illusion as well. But this is one area where I think it really shines. Is there's actually, for the most part, people use what's called either Uber Cart, or with Drupal 7, it's called Drupal Commerce. And it's a shopping cart or e-commerce system that's very tightly integrated with Drupal. It allows you to do traditional sort of sales of products, attributes and coupon codes and all the sort of traditional things you would want in a store. But because the underlying Drupal system is so flexible, it allows you to do a lot of, if you're a programmer or if you have a programmer, it allows you to do a lot of non-traditional e-commerce, like if you're selling tickets, selling memberships, selling files, selling access to your website. I'm doing a site right now where people are ordering prints of particular photos, and so the different photo sizes, you can say, okay, I need a print of this particular photo that's on the site. You have a lot of options there, and it's very flexible, and you can mix and match stuff together. So you can have, oh yeah, we're selling some event tickets, and we're selling some memberships, and we're selling some products, and we can do it all together with one shopping cart back in, so that people can put all those things in their cart and then check out. So I would say it's pretty flexible in this regard.
I'd like to add that you could probably do pretty much all of that with the WordPress plugins as well.
So I think one of the major deciding factors for choosing your CMS for most people would be costs, sitting down a little bit. So can you talk a little bit about how much does it cost? I know they're both open source, so maybe you can talk about that, but cost of a developer, commercial expenses, and outside services, a cost for a whole website.
All right. I think one of the reasons why we all agree that WordPress and Drupal are solid platforms is because they are open source. And if you were to set it up on your own web host, it's free, other than paying for the web host cost. But if you were to look at both services, obviously you have the option to do hosted, where they would host it for you and you would pay like monthly fees. It's a lot easier to set up that way, but you have less flexibility. Or you can buy your own web host, so depending on if you were to just go with something cheap as $5, $6 a month, you can get web hosts, shared web hosts that cheap, and then your $10 domain a year. So that's kind of the basis for most websites, and then you install the platform onto your web host. So if it was WordPress, you would install it on your web host, and it wouldn't cost you anything to download WordPress and do that, and then you'd be able to extend it with the plugins and so forth. If you were to go the hosted way of WordPress, I want to say it starts at $8 a month, and you don't have the extensibility of the plugins, so you're limited in the functionality. There is some built-in functionality with WordPress.com, that's the hosted version, but you don't have I think there's like almost 15,000 WordPress plugins by the community available if you hosted it yourself. To extend on that, there are 2 other things that could have costs associated, which there are paid plugins. Most of the time, I don't see many plugins under or over $100. I mean, you're looking at relatively cheap, $55, $65, $35. A lot of the paid plugins are relatively cheap. And then you also have themes, and there's a lot of great themes out there. There's a lot of great theme packages out there, and those things can range anywhere from $25 to $200, depending on how extensible and how well supported they are. For the most part, I can imagine with a paid theme and maybe a couple paid plugins, you can probably build a relatively good WordPress site for under $500 if you're doing it yourself. I'll let Russ talk a little bit more about having it done with somebody else, because I'm sure he has much more experience with that.
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, like anything, you can pay a lot for a WordPress site, you can pay not that much at all. And I think that's one of the great things about WordPress is that there's so many great free resources out there that if you are price sensitive, you could have a really nice professional looking site that you can completely manage yourself easily for almost no money. I mean, you basically could pay for a domain and hosting, which would run you under a couple $100 a year. And you can find, there's some beautiful free themes out there. That's really one of WordPress's strong points, is the amount of themes that are available. And even if you didn't want to pay the $50 for a premium one, there's some great free ones that are just really, really nice. So you can install that for free, install the plugins for free, and have pretty much full functioning website for very little, as Anthony said. In terms of going custom, depending on what you want, you can of course spend more from there. A really nice premium theme might be a couple $100. If you're going to start hiring somebody to design one for you, you might be looking at a few $1,000s. And if you're kind of into the range of needing a full custom site, maybe you're spending somewhere between $5 and $50,000, depending on what you need. So it really can range as all things custom.
So, ditto.
Same thing. I mean, you can have a website that you build yourself. Yeah, for $500, you could do a $5,000 website or $50,000 and up. I mean, WhiteHouse.gov runs on Drupal, and I think our government probably spent a couple $1 million with 2 different companies to build that. So it really ranges, and it depends on what you're looking for, how much you want to do yourself now, and then in the long term too. Because a lot of people think, all right, I have my website, it's done, but unfortunately, that's not really the good way to do it, because you're going to learn things as soon as you launch that site. So it's a process that's ongoing, and you need to look at the costs the same way. It's not just a one-time deal. Look at it over the long run.
Great. Just a question to the audience. How many people are actively seeking web development or looking at building a new website in the next couple months? All right, targeted. You're welcome. So what are your questions? What are your concerns? I mean, what's important to you when choosing a CMS? We talked about some of these you can build social communities on it, like a LinkedIn or a school-based communication network. So what are you looking to use it for, and what are some of the questions that you have? I see we've got a young lady in the back. I'll come to you with the mic.
So I guess the main question that we have is, we're looking at both Drupal and WordPress. Our main focus on our site is going to be needing a strong knowledge base. We sell software, and so we need something really good for technical support. And I think the main thing I'm concerned about is there doesn't seem to be one good module that I can find in either Drupal or WordPress that does that. So it's like curiosity about having to combine a whole bunch of modules / plugins to do one thing, and how does that work when they start becoming outdated at different times, when you've got your site live, I guess.
So you're basically looking for ability to post like question and answers, technical support questions, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so really strong search capabilities so people can find answers to their questions
Right.
online by themselves, maybe post comments back to the ratings.
I mean, to be honest, like the way that I would approach it, you could probably do with WordPress or Drupal. Both of them have a good search feature. If for some reason that wasn't good, you could always use the Google search tool, which is pretty good. That's easy to integrate. But I would actually do that sort of thing as a wiki, because that would make it really easy to create new pages and edit. And obviously, you wouldn't give anybody the ability to edit that wiki. You just give internal people. And that would probably be the easiest way to kind of build that sort of infrastructure. But they both do comments. They both have a wiki module, as far as I know, a wiki plugin. That's how I go about it.
So with Drupal, there's a couple different options. We have things called installation profiles and distributions. And two that come to mind, one is called Open Atrium, and it has things like a ticketing system and something called a shout box and forums and different groups. And then there's another one called Drupal Commons, which is a newer one that just, I think, was launched last year, but that does specifically have things like built-in knowledge base and commenting system and forums and stuff like that. You might want to look at those. And then certainly from a custom viewpoint, there's all sorts of interesting things you can do with like the views module. I think Wayne might talk about that a little too.
Yeah, just in case it wasn't clear, the installation profiles are basically they're standard Drupal, but they come pre-installed with a set of modules that have been configured for a specific purpose. So in the case of the Drupal Commons, it's kind of like a social network is what they've been designed to do. But yeah, there's one really nice thing that you can do in Drupal is you can use the views module, which allows you to take any of the content that's in the system and sort of mix and match how you display it. So I don't really have time to do like a full sort of demo or anything, but there's a whole sort of interface for this where you can decide sort of what you want to display, what sort of fields you want to display. So what you might do in your case, you might have like a search box at the top, and then you might display small snippets of the possible results that match the search. And there may be, and you can decide sort of how you want this laid out, how many results to show, et cetera, et cetera. You can actually customize the search. So you don't have to use it. Drupal has a built-in search page, but you can actually build one that is specifically only searches knowledge base items, and you can actually build custom filters. So if your knowledge base has different fields, like maybe you have different products, and so you want to be able to say, I'm looking for questions about this product, you could do that. Once you know how to use views, that'll take 5 minutes, but learning views might take a bit longer than that.
And this gentleman here.
I was wondering about WordPress. Are there servers located around the world or under a mountain or something that powers WordPress? And for the future of it, will it continue, at least WordPress.org, to continue to be free and reliable in the foreseeable future?
I don't know much about their servers. So I'm assuming you're talking about the WordPress.com, the hosting sites?
Well, WordPress.org.
Because it's hard
Where does
to...
it come from?
So there's this company called Automatic, which is responsible for a lot of the WordPress development. But it is open source, so you can't say that Automatic is fully or solely responsible for the development of WordPress. There's hundreds of people that can just contribute to it. Automatic is responsible for WordPress.org, the site, which they release the different versions of WordPress there. It's hard to say the longevity or the foreseeable future, but I can speak upon what they've done in the past and the amount of updates that they've released. I know WordPress is really good at releasing updates. Every time there's security vulnerabilities that they find, they update really quickly. I think they're on like 3.13. So I would say the last 6 to 8 weeks there's been 3 minor releases which have had security updates that they've been able to fix.
Do you want to cover that same angle from the Drupal side? Sorry, it's a basic question.
Yeah, there is for Drupal. There's a Drupal association that's a nonprofit that sort of, I guess, securer of the code. I mean, it is GPL, so nobody could ever take it away from you. I mean, there are some major Drupal companies that sort of lead the development effort, but they're not. I don't think it's not as direct of a leadership role as it is in the WordPress community, where there's one clear sort of leader in that field. There's a couple major Drupal companies that kind of do it, but in general, the community or in the association sort of manages the code and the project.
Is use a Drupal core module or something that I have to go get and install?
It's not a core module. You have to download it.
Okay.
If you use Drupal Gardens, it is there. It's pre-installed on Drupal Gardens, so that if you use the hosted version of Drupal, then it's there.
So there's a lot of things that are similar between the two, obviously. But what are the things that make them the most different? Like, it's been oh well, we can do this, we can do that. What's the real big differences?
I could say one thing about WordPress, I think, is SEO. So I know a lot of people are really hungry about SEO, and WordPress actually has a lot of functionality built in where it doesn't require any plugins out of the box to get SEO benefits of WordPress. For instance, they use this thing that allows WordPress, every single time you post something, it pings it to a service called Ping-O-Matic, which helps push your content out to different sources such as Technorati, and I wish I could think of all of them. But if you look at, I think it's pingomatic.com, it lists all the different sources that they push the content to. So that right out of the box is built into WordPress, and I think that's exclusive. I don't know if Drupal has anything like that. But that is one thing. It's hard for me to speak in difference because I'm not too much into the Drupal. But I think with WordPress, it's I've always thought WordPress is much more lightweight of a CMS, and it was always built upon. So you would think of it as almost like a really small package, and then you would extend it with plugins. Like it just doesn't work without plugins. And I think that's one of the reasons why the community is as big as it is. I noticed also that the support is really well. Like if you just go to, I want to say it's wordpress.org/support or support.wordpress.org. If you go to wordpress.org and look at the support link at the top, you can search for pretty much any topic. And I've been in those forums many times where it's hard to just get your own, to answer other people's questions because people are constantly answering people's questions. So if you post a question there and you need support for WordPress, don't be surprised if you get a response within 60 seconds to 2 minutes, because I've seen it happen many times.
I kind of see two major differences. I guess for WordPress and then all CMSs, but kind of including Drupal. One would be the community, as Anthony has described. But there's a humongous community out there for WordPress. WordPress powers, I found a statistic, almost 63% of the top 1 million websites that run on a content management system compared to Drupal's 3%. So there's a lot of people out there that use WordPress, and those are all people who are going to run into similar challenges that you might in running a website and are finding solutions for that. And as a result, there are more themes out there for WordPress, and there are more plugins. WordPress has like 15,000 plugins to Drupal's 8,000, which is still a lot, but I mean there's more there, and I think that's part of the community and the enthusiasm behind it to kind of drive the creation of these tools. And then, like Anthony said, the support forum. Even if you can't find somebody locally who knows how to help you with WordPress, yeah, I posted questions to the support forum on WordPress, and within 10 minutes, by the time I remembered to actually go and check it, there was already a few answers. So that was really powerful. And then the second thing that I think WordPress is particularly great at that I haven't found in any other content management systems, in my opinion, is that it just does what a content management system is supposed to do so well. And that's make it easy to update and post new content and edit content and extend your website. You don't have to be a developer, you don't have to be a programmer, you don't even have to be that computer savvy. And I could quickly show you how to edit pages, add pictures, and even work with plugins and widgets and that sort of thing. So there's just this very short learning curve. In fact, most of my clients, I teach them how to use WordPress by sending them 5 30-second videos. And that's all they need to do is watch these quick 30-second videos and they know how to use it. And then from there, editing the site and maintaining your website, which is what a content management is supposed to do, is really easy.
I also like to add that WordPress has a lot of mobile applications. So if you're looking to moderate or moderate comments or update some of the content on your site, they have an iPad app, they have an Android app, they have an iPhone app, a Windows 7, a BlackBerry. I think there's even more. But especially if you're with mobile devices today, I can see many times, like I really use it for comment moderation, or if I just want to approve or deny or even reply to comments, I can just do it right through my mobile device really nicely. So I really think that's one thing that makes WordPress really powerful, is having that level of extensibility to mobile.
So speaking to content, I think that's really where Drupal really excels, because Drupal has this idea of a content type and something underneath it that, not to get too technical, but Drupal calls a node. And a node is just this kind of like bare bones basic entity of a thing, and it builds up from this generic, blob of a thing into whatever you want. And so instead of being designed around pages or articles like WordPress originally was, since it was created as blogging software, Drupal was built from the ground up with this idea that it could be anything, and it was designed to handle whatever you could dream up. And so WordPress 3, I think, now introduced content types. They aren't really in the UI yet. I guess you need maybe a plugin for that. And that's where Drupal was about 4 years ago. And so Drupal looks at content, which is crucial for any website, and says, all right, we know you're going to do more than just pages and articles. We designed it that way from the start, and do whatever you want with that now. That's a major difference in my opinion.
Yeah, I would just add on to that. That's what I would say the major difference is that you can treat your content more flexibly. Like, you don't have to imagine that your content may not be consumed on a web page in a browser. So, for example, the LA2M app actually pulls the content directly from the Drupal site, that la2m.org, but it doesn't necessarily have to do it through the website. It doesn't scrape the website. You're not just seeing the website in the app. It's possible with Drupal to expose that content in various formats. So you see people doing things like either connecting it to mobile applications or like Facebook applications. There's a plugin or a module that lets you build Facebook applications with it. It is definitely, because it's set up this way, it is more work to perhaps build a blog or build your site, because you have to decide how you want to use the content. But if you want to change either the way that your content is consumed or how the sort of workflow works, like how your content will move through your system, if there's more statuses than just published and unpublished, but maybe different things have to happen or it needs to show up in different places, that's an area where Drupal really excels. And there are and you can do it both from a programming interface and with tools like views. It's possible to do quite a bit even without doing programming. Now, the view system is complex and requires it's got a learning curve, but once you learn it, you're able to do quite powerful things with the interface.
All right, sorry we didn't have time to get to all of your questions, but they will be here afterwards to talk with you a little bit more about some of the questions you might have. We need to do intros, so I'll hand it off to Derek Maribon. Let's give him a round of applause. Thanks so much.
All right, so we have 15 minutes to get all the way around the room. In the meantime, pay the men and women in black, and we'll start with this gentleman. If you could briefly stand up and give us your name, your company, and briefly if there's anything we can do for you, and we'll get all the way around the room in 15 minutes. There you go.
Hi, my name is Changmin Fan, Timeline Work. We developed a new product and technology. It's called a Timeline. If anybody can remember SSS, and you got it. Smart Social Sign Service, actually 4S. This new product, actually I got to talk to you guys later, how I'm going to use the best technology, Drupal or WordPress or Joomla, to include the text messages which you can show and move around on any place in public places. Tiny Line World, the product called the Tiny Airline. We're going to show in 2 months. Hope I can see you guys later. Thanks.
My name is Kevin Doak. I run a web development firm out of Brighton, Michigan, and I was just looking forward to seeing the differences between Drupal and WordPress. I primarily do Drupal development, so it was nice to hear both sides of it.
Hi, I'm Kendall Totten. I currently work at Switchback, a Drupal shop down in Carytown, and I also do freelance web development. I'm primarily Drupal front-end developer and themer.
I'm Dee Davey. I'm an independent marketing contractor, and I help my clients ensure that they're offering the right things to the right customers for the right reasons, using the right marketing techniques. I also help them if they have an idea for developing a new service, but lack the time or resource to actually get the idea off the ground. Dee Davey, you can find me on LinkedIn, Google me, or look me up at Creative Ideas Marketing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Becker. We develop software that connects to Drupal and WordPress. And,
Please stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
That's about it. I'm Matt Austin, and I do digital business development in Brighton, Michigan.
Maybe you shouldn't stand up. I won't stand up. My name is Greg Cannon, and I'm just recently back from Venezuela, where I was running an open source system migrations and I'm just in transition at the moment, looking for the next step.
I'm Peter Ray, from CEO of Arbor Scientific. I'm looking for someone with data analysis skills, database analysis, to look at mailing lists and determine which direction we should go with our next mailing.
Carl Kudiojan, president of Tel Systems, Thelmet Electronics here in Ann Arbor. We design and install professional video and audio systems, and we're currently looking at, we're going to be redoing our website, and the timing of this was perfect. We're looking at WordPress versus Drupal.
Sean Hess with Downers Farms Office Park. We're a property management land development company.
Roger Rail. I do anything to do with information.
Hi, my name is James Rose. I'm going to start working with Alex this week, but Ross has trained me at WCC. So.
Hi, my name is Joel Burke. I'm with dishfish.com, where you can catch a deal and help support a cause. When you get a discount or participating merchant or restaurant, Dishfish gives a donation to your favorite charity. Quick ask, if you manage or run a restaurant or business that serves consumers, please come see me so we can work on sending you some customers. And that's dishfish.com. My name is Joel.
I'm Jeanette Gutierrez, and I do design, branding, marketing, and social media for business, and all of my clients are asking me for websites these days, which is a good sign for the economy.
I'm Bud Gibson. I developed the search marketing program at Eastern Michigan University. I'm proud to have a couple of students here in attendance. I'm also proud to announce that I am now connected to Dee Davey on LinkedIn.
Hello, my name is John Porter. I always enjoy the information put forward here, and I'm between jobs right now, so all these opportunities are great. Myself pretty well.
Hi, Mike Wynn with Sandler Training, and our clients usually come to us because either their sales aren't where they want them to be, or they really hate selling and need a system to make it easier.
Hi, I'm Carl Kaczynski. I work with Inner Circle Media and sometimes occasionally teach at WCC.
And we do both Drupal and WordPress development, so if you need one, you haven't decided, come with us.
Caroline Robbins, I'm an intern at Inner Circle Media. I'm a student at Albany College and looking to network. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Hi, I'm Matt Lauren. As Buddy mentioned, I'm a student at Eastern Michigan University for the Web Marketing Practicum, and we've done some great work with local nonprofits like the Arbor Hands-On Museum managing AdWords accounts.
John Polarowski from Karma CRM. We do simple web-based CRM software.
Hi, I'm Julie Vandewater. I work at Ilium Software. We sell various kinds of mobile Windows and Mac apps, and they've charged me with the task of figuring out how to learn how to use CMS to redesign our website.
Hi, I'm Kevin Gillespie. I'm COO of Ingenics Digital Marketing, and I'm proud to be so. Also want to tell people that I've got debuting a new radio show on WAAM on Saturday. It's a local business show. It's centered around what you guys do. We're looking for people with compelling info and interesting tips and tricks, as well as sponsors. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Janak Mehta. I run Social Media Michigan, which is social media marketing training company. We meet on third Thursday of each month in Eastern Michigan University of Livonia. I'll be seeing you next week. I'm actually speaking next week here, so looking forward to see you all. And we'll be talking about SEO on Facebook. So looking forward to see you all.
I'm Pat Gage with Phoenix Media Group, where we use social media marketing and web video marketing to cut your advertising costs in half.
Hi, Vince Shmaleski, BC Web Design, and I highly recommend Ross or Wayne if you're thinking about doing a WordPress or Drupal site. I've worked with both of them, they do great work. But if they're too busy, BC Web Design also does both. We can install a generic WordPress site, install your theme for 400 hours if you want to do it that way. We also do custom work. And this is nothing here, so I'll see you next time. Thanks.
My name is Tony Brown of Brown Media. Been in broadcasting for 25 years. I specialize in multimedia. And basically my focus is I take radio, television stations, and record companies, convert their content and their brand into WordPress, considering Drupal to be my second content management system over Joomla, but I think I'm going to stick with WordPress. And that's it. If you're into multimedia and looking to sell your multimedia or anything, I'm here.
Patrick Don, sous chef at the Common Grill in Chelsea. I'm also a student at EMU working on a Google AdWords campaign for the NPO Dreamcatchers.
Hi, my name is Amanda Butcher, and I am the LA2M intern.
My name is Lauren Schneider, and I'm an intern at Ingenics Digital Marketing. Hi, I'm Shannon Beeman. I'm a business consultant with the Michigan Small Business Technology Development Center at Washtenaw Community College, and our website is hosted by WordPress.
My name is Marty Bile. I'm a switchback, and we love Drupal.
Hi, I'm Lance Carlson. I'm the lead dev at KeelPay. We do, at the moment, it's free invoicing. Actually, we just got Ross to switch from FreshBooks, so check it out. If you have trouble remembering, skillpay.com, or come to me for a card.
Hi, I'm Andy Fox, recent graduate of Major College, media arts major. I currently do volunteer for American Pie Pizza, which is a Detroit area franchising role in media and marketing setup for the in-store and what they do in the communities around them.
Hi, Beth Heiss, and I help a business from home, Sun Towels, and I also teach business classes at Adrian College. And Andy was one of my former students. Hi, I'm Chris Kirchen. That's my privilege, and I'm privileged to learn about all this. Help my clients understand it a little better when they ask me.
Hi, my name is Gabby Park. I intern for events at BC Web Design. I'm also a current student at the University of Michigan. So yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. We'll be on there.
Hi, I'm Mike Mayo with Affordable Computers here in town. We have a showroom over at South Industrial. We also have an e-commerce website that is hosted and run by Wayne Eaker, does an awesome job for us. And what we do is save people money on their IT equipment and service requirements.
Good afternoon, I'm Al. I'm from Logic Solutions here in Ann Arbor. We are a 16-year-old firm, roughly about 150 people, solely focused in digital, web, and mobile. Last 3 years, a lot of mobile. Very focused in open source, both religious camps, .NET, as well as Linux and the Linux side, some WordPress, lots of Drupal, lots of Joomla. We view that as the mid-tier to the highly complex environment for Drupal and Joomla. A little less so for WordPress, but in the last year, WordPress has really come up. If you need help with what I call moderately complex to very complex site with backend integration and other systems, highly transactional, or mobile integration, we do all of that. My name's Al at logicsolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Crawford, and among other things, I do mobile app development. So if you're having trouble cooking in the kitchen, you've had something not turn out, maybe over the weekend you burned something on the grill or on the stove, check out VizChef, VIZchef.com, and download the apps.
My name is Michael Pickler. I'm a marketing consultant. I help organizations drive their business development. I found the information today very interesting because a lot of my clients are getting back into a corner and I need help.
Hi, Jane Delancey, Delancey Design, and we do graphic design for marketing. Often that's clients who are unhappy or frustrated with their current website or anxious to get their message out and they need a website. And you know, we've had some experience with Joomla and definitely WordPress or Drupal are the ones. So Jane Delancey, Delancey Design.
Hi, I'm Amy Ma. I'm currently doing a website that is like social media with B2B marketing.
My name is Emil Meddy. I have been online since 1985 and have been blogging since 1999 or so. For whatever reason, I entered the Drupal world and exited it, and I have been writing on TypePad ever since, which is sort of minimalist setup. But I also, for a year and a half, wrote a daily column for Hanover.com inside the Drupal type environment, and now primarily looking for a short description that would cause someone to want to work with me.
Hi, I'm Karen Davidson. I'm a front-end coder specializing in gaming for content management systems, especially Drupal, WordPress, as well as Evolution, which is an e-commerce platform. I've had the pleasure of working for Alex and working for Ross, so I can recommend both of them for either of the Drupal or WordPress platforms.
Hello, my name is AJ Dees. I'm with Loving Works here in Ann Arbor, and we market the health and wellness products of Dr. Kyle Morgan. She's an alternative medicine osteopath. We're looking for some volunteer subjects to test a very interesting and helpful sleep product here this next month. So if you know anyone who has trouble sleeping, wakes up early, wakes up throughout the night, or gets up before they really wish to, come and see us and we'll get you involved with that. I'll also be speaking here in 2 weeks, and I'll be providing a different twist of a topic, more focused on content management, but not from the vehicle or the technology, but more of the content itself. And when you walk out of here after that experience, you'll be able to change your content from just what's expected to what's differentiated or maybe even exciting. AJDs with Loving Works.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Rosemere. I'm a shameless promoter of the clock that I invented. It's available on the iPhone. We also have a PC model. What we ideally want to do is to go from what you see here to put this on a wristwatch or a wall clock. So I'd love to talk to somebody who has some ideas.
Hi everyone, Joe Minnock. I'm the co-founder of Deal Spot Account, and he's one of my partners.
And what we're looking for right now is how many of you guys are actually marketers for small businesses? So I want to talk with each and every one of you today. All right, let's try. So we've built a platform that helps small businesses measure the effectiveness of their marketing as it relates to real sales at their point of sale. And we're looking to extend our service through you marketers to your small business clients. So we're looking for test cases right now. There's no cost. We need some more research done before we start marketing the service. So please come and see me. I'd like to work with you and your small businesses. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve Schwartz. My company, Alpha Django Web-Based Software, builds web and mobile web applications, including ProudJuice.com, which some of you use to register for and meet other people at this awesome event today.
Hi, my name is Brenda Feynman, and I work in the Marketing and Communications Department with the Betty Brigade, which is a personal concierge service.
I'm Mark Olivier, and I do affiliate marketing.
I'm Carter Sherline from Print Studios, and I'm a commercial editorial and portrait photographer, and occasionally video. And if you're running the Dexter ad Arbor run, you'll see me all over the place in the year cameras away.
All right, so my name is Derek Maribel, CEO of Ingenix Digital Marketing, and we do all types of things. We do Drupal and Joomla and all those exciting CMSs. So I really don't know which one's better. I think it's the easy. Did I say Joomla? WordPress. Yeah, I think WordPress is more like you can do a lot of stuff on your own, and Drupal is definitely maybe a little bit more complex. That's a good way to specify. I think they both can be amplified with the right talent. So yeah, great talk today. Let's give these guys a big round of applause. Very, very interesting talk. And Dee Davey is going to close it out and introduce next week's speaker.
Thank you, Derek. And before I do that, thanks to our sponsor of Lunch and Arbor Marketing, Bob Foran, photographer. We see Bob often. He's been a great supporter of LA2M. So if you need some photographic work doing, go see Bob. I'm also going to follow on from the pre-introduction of our next week's speaker. We have Yanek Mehta from PR Easy. And he said that he's going to be talking about Facebook, but he's going to be handling the subject from a slightly different angle, and that of search engine optimization. So come learn some creative new ways to use Facebook for developing your marketing and your business. Thank you, Dee Davey, for Lunch and Arbor Marketing. See you next week.
Thank you.